After the failure that was Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies mode, Treyarch had their work cut out for them. For multiple years it spawned numerous games, Treyarch had kept the same core gameplay mechanics throughout, with mostly slight evolutions and variations taking place between releases. The biggest of these came jumping from Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3. The smallest of these came jumping from Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4. Where Black Ops 3 introduced gobblegums, weapon kits, double pack-a-punch, specialist weapons, and grand endgame boss battles, Black Ops 4 copied, with elixirs, weapon kits, double pack-a-punch, specialist weapons, and grand endgame boss battles. The biggest shakeup that Black Ops 4 provided was a creative class of sorts, offering new customizability with starter weapons, equipment, specialist abilities, talisman, and perks. While this was indeed some variation to how Black Ops 4 discerned itself, and the customizability was cool to see for a moment, there was simply not enough of it. Black Ops 4 came to be known as Black Ops 3.5 among other, albeit more negative, nicknames. People found Black Ops 4's changes crippling, and the lack of changes itself presented another problem: no reason to play. After so many years of the same game design and gameplay loop, with other, operating the zombies games not helping much, Black Ops 4 was the straw that broke the camel's back. People were finally bored of the same thing over and over. They wanted more. They wanted something fresh and familiar. Something different, yet the same. Enter Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies. Man, that's a mouthful.
Sometimes I feel I've got to get away.
Strike team, report. What the hell just happened?
Take my tears and what's not nearly. Whoa!
Let's go!
Push up to love.
You want this?
After a decent little break from the zombie sling, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies offers a welcome return to form for the series and a true overhaul from Treyarch's previous Zombies outing. With the new armor and loot system, upgradable items, an exfil option, and more, Cold War Zombies features the biggest jump in evolution since Black Ops 3. But, is it all good? That is the question we'll be answering today, folks. At the time of recording this, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been out for nearly 2 months, long enough for the honeymoon phase of the game to have ended, and long enough to come up with a real consensus. I personally have over a day played in Zombies, reached the coveted Brown 100, and beaten the Easter egg. With things slowing down and not much else to do besides grinding the rest of my life for Dark Matter, or waiting for the new map to drop, I think now might be a good time to put my thoughts out there. If I had to describe Cold War Zombies in one word, it would be innovation. That's right. The next evolution of the Zombies game mode has come, and it's beautiful. With Cold War Zombies, gameplay is king, and nothing shows us more than the design decisions made to make you want to kill zombies. For the first time ever, you can enter the fray with whatever gun you'd like. Be it a 1911, XM4, or heaven forbid the M79, the choice is yours. Not only does this make the mode more accessible, but it creates good match variety as you no longer have to use the same weapon to start out with. Plus, it makes it way easier to level up your gun and complete challenges since you're guaranteeing yourself whatever weapon you choose. Don't worry though, you're not cheating yourself by choosing a pistol over an assault rifle. You'll come to learn that the weapons and their damages are split up into different color-coded tiers that are all comparable enough and scale quite nicely. For the most part, there's good gun balance, but we'll get into that later. Speaking of damage, once you take your first shot at a zombie, you'll notice a number pop off its head, as well as a health meter drop. Welcome to my favorite quality of life change in the game. Now, instead of wondering how many bullets you have to pump into a zombie to kill it, you can simply look at the enemy and the game will tell you its health. A really simple and really cool addition. Plus, the damage numbers are just so sexy. However, if you don't like seeing these things on your HUD, you can turn them as well as other options off in the settings. Now after hearing about the armor, score streaks, health bars, and damage numbers, you might be thinking to yourself, this sounds like multiplayer but with zombies. And you'd be right. The Zombies feels very much like that, from the way you can mantle around the Zombies map like a multiplayer map, which very much gives you a sense of freedom from the confined barriers of the old Zombies maps, to the different multiplayer operatives you can now play as. This Zombies is more multiplayer-y than ever, but trust me, it's for the better. Not only does it make it more accessible to other people, but it gives the gameplay the much needed depth the mode has been needing for the longest time. Remember, gameplay is king in Cold War Zombies, and everything multiplayer-y about it adds more replayability than ever, and we haven't even talked about the upgrade features yet. For years, we've been asking for upgradable perks. We saw glimpses of what could be in Black Ops 3 with the different helmets that you could acquire in certain maps, and we saw different versions and abilities of the perks in Black Ops 4. But, finally, we have a true upgrade system in Cold War. By simply playing the game, you'll earn Ethereum crystals, which can be used to upgrade the perks we know and love. That's right, Jug is back, baby. While the upgrade system is a little bare bones and doesn't offer too many crazy upgrades, for the most part you're kind of just upgrading the perks from a downgraded state to the state they should be, there's just enough new features and changes to make upgrading feel empowering. What's even better is that by upgrading all the perks, they all become useful and essential to survival, even Deadshot. Besides upgradable perks, there's upgradable weapon classes, field upgrades, and ammo mods. Upgradable weapon classes seem to have replaced the weapon kits of the previous games by offering stat boosts like faster reloading by 20% that a fast mag with the weapon kits used to do. Weapon kits and the customizability they offered are sorely missing here. Now, the only thing you can customize to that same degree is your starting weapon, while the other wall and box weapons are left up to randomness and no cool camos to speak of. This takes away from the grind for camos since you can only apply a camo to one gun. Moving on, field upgrades are this game's version of specialist abilities, but with a new and refreshing twist. Whereas specialist weapons primarily focused on the offensive playstyle, field upgrades cater to all kinds of playstyles. Whether it's running something that heals your downed friends instantly no matter where they are, getting out of a tight pinch, or upping your firepower to insane numbers, there's more ways to play than ever. Though, it kinda sucks that only 3 of these can really be used effectively, that being Healing Aura, Ether Shroud, and Ring of Fire. The other upgrades could use a bit of an upgrade. Finally, ammo mods make a return in our upgradable double pack-a-punch abilities. While this serves as even more content and upgradableness, it doesn't help much, as after all the upgrades are done, there are pretty much only 2 out of the 4 ammo mods worth running, that being Brain Rot and Dipwire. The other ammo mods could definitely use a big buff, as they're pretty much ineffective at this point. Speaking about ineffectiveness, it's time to start talking about my biggest point of contention with Cold War Zombies, the gun balance. I spoke about this briefly earlier in a more positive light concerning the starting weapons, but it's time we talk about the weapons outside of the start. You see, the weapons in the game are divided not only by their type but also by their tier. From worst to best it goes red, green, blue, purple, gold, and yellow, the Wonder Weapon tier. While the tiers themselves aren't an issue, and in fact provide an easy way of having more gun variety without actually having more gun variety in the box, the types of weapons are. While it might not become an issue until later rounds, the issue is still there no less. Every gun, besides maybe 1 or 2, pales in comparison to the shotguns in this game. If you aren't running a shotgun as one of your 2 weapons in the later rounds, you aren't making it anywhere fast. There's a point somewhere in rounds 30 to 40 where the gun damage for every gun besides basically shotguns just stops working. It really sucks because this limits you to using one of the same 2 guns nearly every game if you're serious about surviving, the Gallo and the Howler. By resorting to the same 2 guns nearly every game, you're taking away the variety that I praise this game for having so much up to this point, and therefore, hurting the replayability. The biggest thing this game needs work on is buffing the different guns and making them all viable. No nerfing the Gallo and Howler similar to the numerous nerfs of the ray gun received Treyarch. We want more guns that make killing zombies fun, not a chore. Luckily, this is something that can be tuned out, and I hope the Treyarch looks into this at some point. There was one more new gameplay feature that we have yet to talk about, the exfil system. Long gone are the days of cooking a grenade and downing yourself. Now, you can try and survive with your life for a chance at a successful exfil and some good XP. I'm not sure why we never had an option for this until now, but hey, I'm not complaining. Perhaps it's the multiplayer-focused version of zombies that has allowed us to finally do something like this, as for narrative reasons it probably wouldn't have worked previously. Regardless, exfil is a welcome addition to this year's slew of changes, and gives a nice challenge to the endgame. I only wish that it was a little bit harder, or that when the zombies required to kill were met, it didn't stop the zombies from coming. As of right now, it seems just a bit too easy, but that might just be me. I also wanted to touch on the biggest thing that people will no doubt notice when playing the game, the lack of 4 distinct main characters. With no more witty dialogue or funny quotes, the game does suffer from a lack of personality a little bit, though, for narrative reasons it makes sense why there isn't a main crew. Perhaps later on in the game's life cycle we'll have more of an established cast, but for now, we're stuck with Mobile Me Pal Fracked. While on the topic of characters, you can't help but bring up the story. While past games had featured a grand story taking place across multiple dimensions, this game seems to be taking a more grounded and realistic take on things. While again, it's unclear where the story is taking us, there is an intriguing premise set before us, and I can only hope that the writers know what they're doing and will take us somewhere awesome. Overall, Cold War Zombies is amazing. While the game might be a bit front-end heavy in content and a little lacking in some areas, this year's Zombies showed us innovation like we had never seen for the mode. New systems implemented into the game work, and they work very well. The foundation has been built for the game to have strong legs to stand on. Now, all we need is some more content and a bit of fine-tuning, and we could have a game that rivals Black Ops 3. In fact, we may already. I'm giving Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies an 8 out of 10.